Good morning, everybody. Now is the time set aside for a public hearing regarding issuance by the Cumberland County Municipal Authority of tax-exempt revenue bonds for Spirit Trust Lutheran Project financing request. It's asked that everyone who wants to speak, please provide your name. So, hearing is underway.
I will kick it off here. Good morning, Commissioners. John Cox from Record Siemens here on behalf of serving common counsel and bank counsel for this transaction. We have Dana Rossi with us this morning. She's the CFO for Spirit Trust Lutheran. She's here to talk about their operations generally. They have operated continuing care retirement community, life service, which you can describe further, hospice, various services in Cumberland, Franklin, Adams, and York counties. We've been working with them on was primarily a refinancing transaction, consolidating a number of their tax-exempt issues into a single tax-exempt issue, and then to provide some reimbursement and some new money for various renovations across their operations. And the hearing is being held pursuant to the Internal Revenue Code as a condition for the municipal authority to issue tax-exempt obligations. So we just invite Bennett to make a few comments on their operations, and then anyone in the public would like to share any comments, welcome to do so for the record.
Sure. Spirit Trust Lutheran is a long-term care provider.
Your name?
Dana Rossi. Is a long-term care provider in, as John said, in various areas. We have a life program that operates out of Cumberland County and Perry County, and we also have a satellite to that over in Franklin County. The Cumberland Authority has helped us with that in the past. We also have 5 CCRCs, which are full continuum of care, which is the skilled, the personal care, and the independent living, and we have 1 location that has a personal care and apartments to it. We have 3 affordable housing entities or buildings, and we provide various community support services for the communities both in York and surrounding. So we really are looking to upgrade some of our locations, make them market competitive, and we have a full-fledged ongoing renovation project for our independent living cottages, and so that's part of this as well. We also would like to develop another independent living component on our Chambersburg campus, and some monies are included in here for the land development. And we have a renovation scheduled for our Gettysburg Skill Center.
Is there anyone else that wants to provide any testimony?
No.
On your behalf. Okay. Does the board have any questions?
Yeah, could you describe your organization's work in the area of affordable housing?
We have 3 affordable housing locations, 1 in Hanover, 1 in Chambersburg, and 1 in Gettysburg. They are buildings that are subsidized by government. They're low income on a sliding scale, and that we have had those for many years.
Any thoughts on the location here in Cumberland County?
Well, we actually have a building in Cumberland County that there is land associated with it, and that is with our life building that we did think through that land maybe possibly being affordable housing in the future. So once we get some of our current offers in the place it needs to be, that would be something that we would look at considering.
Board have any other questions or comments? The staff have any questions or comments? Anyone in the audience have any questions? Comments? All right, hearing none, this public hearing is closed. Next we'll move, is also the time for a public hearing regarding the CDBG and budget modification.
Morning, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to present these budget modifications this morning. I wanted to thank also Cindy Boyle and Jennifer Crum, who were very helpful in making this public hearing possible for us this morning. This public hearing has been appropriately and timely provided out into the community in keeping with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requirements for making significant modifications in both CDBG and home, programming. So we sent you all a detailed listing back on September 11th, and then thanks to Jennifer and Sandy for their assistance on that, detailing how we're going to look to reprogram monies, some of these going back to 2014 and up through 2019. A number of these modifications were done because of changes and things that were needed to take place with regards to the Cumberland Valley Habitat for Humanity project, reprogramming available monies out of a couple of different years for that. Many of the others, as you noticed in looking through here, were requests that came actually from the original awardee, as in the case of the Newville borough. They wanted to create a new activity, but in that process cancel an existing activity that had been reapproved. So I guess I'm trying to, I don't know if you want me to go through it line by line, be happy to do so. But these are things that regularly and routinely end up having to come before the commissioners as we move through various programming years. You'll notice there's certainly a number here in the 2019. A lot of that was brought on by, you may remember the commissioners late last fall and early winter in anticipation of awards from HUD. It started to, and we worked ahead as the administrator of that, to try to get ahead of a little bit of the HUD process. The award was not actually made until April, and the monies were just received 2 weeks ago. So there is quite a considerable delay, and those delays then also help bring on the need for making some modifications to these budgets. So that's how all of those pieces came through. And some of them requiring some changes in scope of activities, others wanting to cancel again at the, say in the case of Newville Borough's request, but then reusing the monies in other ways.
Board have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I do. Tim, what's going on down in West Fairview? Why do we have this?
Yeah, I think first of all, these were monies that were specifically set aside for Tri-County community development. And so far, even though there have been significant delays in bidding the township to identify specific properties, we are still have been working, as you know, Commissioner, with the township for some time to get those properties.
There was supposed to be a meeting last month.
Yes, and
that did not occur?
That got canceled by the township, and there's another meeting that they hope to schedule later this month, but that meeting still has not been scheduled. And I must admit, Commissioner, we share some of your concerns over the long delays. However, there are additional monies still available for any projects that may start to grow within the village once they get fully and properly identified.
Okay, so the $329,000 that was set aside for West Fairview for rehab for first-time home ownership, and, where's that? It's being reduced and then reprogramed, is that right?
Right, for this Tri-County project at Tri-County's request, yes.
And where's that going? Where's that project?
That project would be at 219 Herman Avenue in Newville.
So does this mean West Fairview's lost this funding?
I would give you the basic answer. In this particular case, for these dollars out of 2018 home, the answer is yes. However, there are other home monies or CDBG monies that could be made available for projects in West Fairview.
Okay, do you know what those dollar amounts would be?
It would be probably equal to or maybe even greater than the $329,000 that was originally envisioned.
Is some of that going to be with this FAR program? The funding that apparently has come to the county for properties, I think.
Yes, and that's actually some of those monies, that's the $400,000 fair grant that the redevelopment authority received through PHFA. There's $400,000 there. Those dollars for specific projects have not been identified as yet. I don't know if you've had some recent conversations with Kirk Stoner. We've been working very closely with Kirk and also with the folks at CADIC around starting to identify blighted properties throughout the county that may be suitable for this. And some of those properties are in the West Fairview Village.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to share my disappointment with my township that we're not following through here, because there's a tremendous need for rehab in the form of borough West Fairview. And you know, as an Iraq Township Commissioners meeting last evening on different subjects, but I expect that I'll be sharing my disappointment with my locally elected officials.
Yeah, we share your concern. This has been a long and windy road with West Fairview. There's been a lot of attention identified there, properties identified, but getting it to that next step to start to formalize and finalize specific properties has been a struggle.
Thanks.
Just to follow up on that, there have been properties identified in West Fairview.
Yes, we have we have properties identified. We've done walking tours with others, through West Fairview, had conversations with the staff there in West Fairview about properties and just.
So your piece is pretty much complete.
To the point of we need
The township.
the township to take that next step. Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from staff? Any questions from the audience? Okay, hearing none, this public hearing is closed.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the September 19th, 2019 Cumberland County Commission Workshop meeting. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Call this meeting to order at 9:13 a.m. At this time, I'll open the floor to public comments. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 3. We have a couple employee recognitions, and we'll begin with Commissioner DiFilippo presenting the Doris Goodhart Award for 20 years of service to Cumberland County. Doris is on and forward.
Good morning, everyone. We're celebrating 20 years. Doris is 20 years of service with the county. She was hired August 23rd, 1999 as a department clerk 2 in the sheriff's office. In August 2001, was promoted to staff assistant. February 2009, took a lateral transfer to tax assessment as an assessor. In October 2009, was promoted to senior assessor. So Doris, thank you for your 20 years of service. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Doris.
Very good, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next, Commissioner DiFilippo will presenting Scott Shaver from the board for his 20 years of service to Cumberland County. Scott, and Andy, please come forward.
We're also celebrating Scott Shade's 20 years of service with the county. He retired August 30th, 1999 as a probation officer intern for juvenile probation. January 2000 was promoted to probation officer 1, and November 2014 promoted to probation officer supervisor assistant probation director. Excuse me. Scott, congratulations and thank you for your service. Would you like to say anything?
Well, Cumberland County resident, I'm honored to work in the same town I live. It's been a pleasure working with the last couple of years. That's about it. 21.
We're open. That's really brief comment. Scott's come here, he's 20 years. He started his career with us as a community-based officer, a school-based officer in Cumberland Valley School District, and worked there for about 14 years. Became supervisor in 2014. And over the last 5 years has really established himself as a leader in our department. Scott's headed up numerous initiatives, including he's developed our case plan, a lot of quality assurance initiatives, as well as most recently, really kind of developing and implementing our evidence-based EPICS model, which is our effective practices in community supervision with the youth that we serve. In addition to that, Scott's become a leader statewide on a number of different committees. He's really established himself as a leader in juvenile justice. I think his hard work, dedication, his passion for his job has really served the families within Cumberland County, our department, and I think we all benefit from the service here, and we look forward to many more years of leading this department and continuing the mission that we're on. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 4, and I'll call on Jonathan Thompson again to discuss any further information regarding the budget resolution 2019-25 regarding Spirit Trust Blueprint Project.
Thank you, Cindy. Again, for both 4 and 5, this is a part of the Internal Revenue Code requirement to be applicable elected officials that incorporated the issuer, in this case, the Cumberland County Municipal Authority, as well as the officials where the projects are located have to provide their consent to the issuance of the tax and documentation for the project as described. So we prepared for your consideration at the voting meeting on Monday, and the quote-unquote approval resolutions, then reviewed by your solicitor and on your agenda. So that's item 4.
Does anyone have any further questions regarding it? Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 5, and Jonathan will discuss resolution 2019-24 regarding the Carlisle Family YMCA property.
With respect to the same resolution, this time for the Carlisle Family YMCA project. For the IDA, it's been our practice, my practice, to advertise and hold the separate hearing, the public hearing through the Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation. So we did that, and we provided hearing synopsis and attendance sheet to you in advance. So no need that this is not a public hearing, but I did want to provide an opportunity for Marcia Gardowski, the Executive Director for the Y, to give you a quick summary of the project. It's a very exciting project, very significant to the Carlisle community, tremendous community support. We raised almost $10 million in the capital campaign. The $1.8 million that is being considered for taxes and financing is really the gap between the amount raised in the capital campaign and total project cost. So I know Marcia has some nice pictures of the project and let's share a brief summary with you.
Thank you, Don. Do I take mine? Thank you for the opportunity to share our exciting project. The packet's coming around, I won't go through the entire thing, but it's for you to review. We did raise over $9 million and had great community support. And I'm happy to also say that the payment of the budget is coming in ahead of schedule, so we have nearly $5.5 million in our bank account ready employees to start the project. So, and you all have a packet, that's our vision for the look of the new YMCA. We'll be at our current site. Obviously, we've been there since 1960, so it's time for major renovation. If you turn to the first page that says existing site plan, two things I wanted to note: the items we've read are slated for demo. The smaller portion will start our project, hopefully here in the next 6 weeks. The two parts will be demoed first, and then we are going to work on the section along West Street. That will be phase 1 of our project. And if you turn the page, you will see that our goal is to create a large 2-story addition to wrap around the YMCA structure that will be named. We'll have a nice large parking lot on the left side, and then if you notice on the first page, the 3-story school building, which dates to 1899, that will be demoed second, and we'll finish phase 2 and interior renovations. It is our goal to remain open and continue serving the community throughout this, so phasing is very critical for us to be able to build a portion, move services, finish the project, move everything back. It's about a 20-month construction timeline, and we're very close to being able to break ground, but we're waiting for permitting and a few other items. Behind that, you can look at the, that's more given. We have the first floor layout. The only thing I would point out is that the small blue area on the bottom right-hand corner will not be part of the project. We don't quite have enough funds to do that additional product space. We'll look at that in the future if possible. The page behind that shows the second floor. We are keeping our gym, our pool, and some interior space, but everything else will get a facelift review to be created. And then just some photos also to give you an idea of the look we're going for: more open, modern, flexible space. When we're done, the building will be about 3,000 square feet larger than it is currently, but we're removing a lot of inefficient space, replacing it with better layout, energy efficiency, and better flow.
Any questions?
Congratulations on your fundraising.
Thank you. Our campaign chair was Hubert Gilroy, so we had a wonderful team. Great team, wonderful support from the community, and really amazing. So anxious to get started and see how.
Thank you for your presentation. Next, we'll move on to agenda item 6, and I'll call on Tim Whalen once again to discuss the 2019 CDBG and home modifications.
This is just, again, a continuation of what we had talked about previously. And if all goes well, we'll be back on Monday to obtain approval of the various recommendations for reprogramming the CDBG and home funds as specified in our September 11th memorandum to you.
Thank
Okay, thank you.
Next, we move on to agenda item 7, contracts and grants. Agenda item 7, emergency number 1, A to review our existing contracts, contract extensions for them and additional costs and fees to the county. They include the following departments: there's one agreement for children and youth, one agreement for alcohol, one agreement for juvenile probation, 2 agreements for MHID, one agreement for public safety. Commissioners, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding any above-mentioned agreements? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 7, number 2, which consists of new contracts, vendors, services, grants, and contracts with increases and decreases to for the county. I'll begin by calling on Jamie to discuss board agreements. Jamie?
Board of Commissioners, the first contract is for preventative aftercare with George Junior Republic. This is one of our in-home services. It's a very successful program. They have asked for 5% increases in their two programs, intensive supervision and prison visitation. They are still within the range of other like services. The next one is George Junior Republic, their out-of-home services. They have asked for 5% increases across the board. Again, still below the state maximum allowable and within the range of other like services that we contract with. It's also not a very heavily used program with our agency. The third contract is with Kids Peace. They did request 2% increases for this year, and they are within the state maximum allowable as well. And the last one is Appalachian Youth Services. One of their programs, they requested an increase of 3.9%, but it's still well below the state maximum allowable and within the same range as other like services.
Commissioners, any questions? Thank you. Agenda item B, I'll call on Melissa Smith, who is doing the BTC to discuss the CNR student agreement. Melissa?
Good morning, everyone. The agreement that I have before you is from F&M Trust. It is just to add the administrator and secretary to be a signatory to the bank statement. There is, I noticed that morning, it has on the first page my name as secretary, and they allow me to scratch that off in other places. So I don't know if you want to do agreement or if you want to scratch that off and put Commissioner Eisenberger in there.
As long as Commissioner Eichelberger's name appears, that'd be fine. Don't scratch that off.
Okay, Roger. All right. Is there a copy of the agreement somewhere? Because we don't have it.
Yeah, we have the agreements. If we provided you with all the agreements, you have those back in the day. So I can provide you that.
No.
Okay. Any further questions for Melissa? Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Next, Bill Fulton is here to discuss the agreement for the Controller's Office. Bill?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here today to ask for your consideration of a contract for renewal or actuarial services for our post-employment benefit for capital reporting. It's a biannual contract. It's increased $2,000 from $12,000 to $14,000. The major change that led to this was the standards require a report every year versus one report every 2 years. It's the first increase they've requested since 2011.
Any questions for Bill? Thank you, Bill. Next, we'll move on to agenda item D, and Dustin Smith will be joining us BTC to discuss the GIS agreement. Justin?
Hear me now?
Now we can.
Okay, thanks. Board of Commissioners, this is an agreement for pictometry to fly the county in 2020. We've had flights county in 2008, 2012, 2016, and now continuing the 4-year cycle, we have a flight proposed for 2020. The contract is for $158,395. This is a reduction of almost $100,000 from the 2016 flight due to cost savings from the Pima flights in 2018. Pictometry will capture oblique photography, which is in addition to what the ortho photography, the traditional top-down view, which is what Pima collected, but they did not collect the ortho or the oblique imagery. So this data is integral to the function of assessments workflows. I would like to point out that there is a deadline for the end of September to realize the discounts that are outlined in the contract. And there's also a piece for the Optometry Connect online, which is a tool that we use so that assessment, municipal officials, and the public can view the imagery through the internet.
Any questions for Justin?
And if we did not pick up this contract, we would have to pay $3,500 a year separately to continue that online access for the imagery.
Any other questions? Okay, we're good, Justin, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, agenda item E, I'd like to call on Andy Strite, who will be discussing the five agreements for MAW.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have a few contracts to discuss with you. The first two are actually amendments for fiscal year 18-19. The first being for Cumberland County Prison, and just as a reminder, we pay a portion of the salary of the staff person at the prison to help maintain a lot of continuity for individuals with mental illness who end up incarcerated. So we work very closely with the justice system here in the county as well. And then the second is for Keystone Service Systems. Keystone provides a variety of residential services for the mental health office. And these were additional purchases, year-end purchases to support the staff and the residents there. So the total of that one was $48,209. And then for fiscal year 19-20, this is a renewable contract from prior year with an increase of just a little over $600, and that's based on services that are authorized through HCSIS. And then the second is with Keystone Service Systems, and that's actually a decrease of a little over $5,000. And again, that's based on services that are authorized through HCSIS. And the third is a contract which is a decrease with Cynthia Marines, and she's cutting her hours with an impending retirement, so she's semi-retired, but so that'll be a decrease in the contract as well. Do any of you have any questions?
Thank you, Andy. Next, I'd like to call Brian Ward to discuss the sheriff's office agreement. Brian?
Hello, everybody. Just in front of you here to speak about a contract that we have. I think we're in our third or fourth year through Lexipol. If you guys remember, Lexipol is a service that is fantastic. It's probably one of the most important things that I stand in front of you to talk about, because it involves policy and liability mitigation and training on policy and liability mitigation. A quick example of how it works. Obviously, Act 79 is in the back of everybody's minds because we just went through it with you guys to find space, which I'm still happy about. But when that law became in effect in April, that at 12:01 that day, I had all my policies pushed from Lexipol that would be affected by Act 79 to implement into our current policies and push out to our people. So literally that morning, there was no delay with how the law is going to affect us. And I can get that out to all of our guys and girls so that they we're up to speed with it. That's a very small example of how beneficial it is. I continually get policy updates based off case law, but federally and here in Pennsylvania, and it's incredibly valuable. I can sit here and go on about it, but that's what I'm here for. I see it crept up a little bit, price, I think $660, but it's the same package that we had last week. Any questions from everybody? Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 8. I'd like to call Bob Shively, who's joining us BTC, to discuss the emergency operations plan. Morning, Bob.
Good morning. Requesting your approval and promulgation of the updated Cumberland County Emergency Operations Plan. The plan is required under Title 35 and outlines the concept of operations for the county to assist and support municipalities public facilities, agencies, residents, and visitors during emergencies. I wanted to thank Cheryl for her efforts with these updates. I did review the plan also, as well as our planning coordinator, Justin Shawless, as well as Solicitor Brenneman. It's mostly administrative updates, fixing new titles, updating things like the National Incident Management System updates, some additional wording, lessons learned from different exercises and real-world incidents, and just keeping our operations items for the EOC and things like that updated. It was also part of our annual statement of work, which is part of the Emergency Management Performance Grant. So it was a required task with that. Any questions?
Everybody's good, Bob, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Agenda item 9, I'd like to call on Tammy Bennett to discuss the cost allocation plan for finance. You do have a copy of that in your folder. Tammy?
Good morning. Finance is requesting approval to accept the 2018 cost allocation plan prepared by Maximus that will be used in calendar year 2020. Cost allocation plan is what we use to charge back to departments. It helps us maximize our state and federal funding. Any questions?
Any questions? Agenda item 10, Ron Snow will be discussing resolution 2019-28 regarding tax exempt bond reimbursement.
Morning, Commissioners. We're asking for approval on a reimbursement resolution related to 2 projects. The first is the purchase of new state certified election equipment, and the second is the replacement of the public safety radio system to a P25 system. The reimbursement resolution will allow us flexibility, and until we know details from the state on if there's going to be a grant for the election equipment, and to allow us to see how the timing of the P25 project is going to play out over the next year.
Any questions for Ron?
Just real quick. So this is just giving us some discretionary authority, right? We're not making any decisions on borrowing any money or any bond, floating any bonds today.
So it's going to give us time to make those decisions once we know more details.
Okay. And I see it says not to exceed 10 million, which is what jumped out at me, but you know, we just passed the other resolution to the voting machine. So again, this is just, we don't know, for example, P25, what the initial, when do we expect the initial cost for P25 to hit?
We are incurring expenses as of now. We have consulting expenses going on now. And we also have a vendor who's looking at our site. So they're developing what each site needs work done. We're expecting about $3 million expense in 2020 for that. That's upgrades to the site plan. So it's a 2.9 10 million. That would be $4 million for the election equipment if there's no state grant. And then $6 million for the public safety radio project.
But relative to the election system, we don't necessarily have to float a bond for that either.
We don't.
We may take up, utilize some other low-cost financing.
We could do a bank loan.
Bond. This is just giving us that
Flexibility. And if we did end up doing a bond issue for the P25 project in 2020 or 2021, we could combine those 2 into one issue. So we wouldn't have to do separate issues.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Okay, Commissioners, agenda item 11, I would just like to ask for affirmation of a letter of support on behalf of the Friends of West Shore Theater for $100,000 for the restoration of West Shore Theater. We previously did that letter of support on September 11th, and it was sent out at that time, so I'm just asking for formal action to be taken as a matter of record.
Is there a motion to approve?
For
questions or comments on the letters?
Just wanted to clarify that it's just part of a grants program application. It's not just a blind request for dollars. So it's, working.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, agenda item 12, I have the solicitor resident to discuss tax claim bureau repository staffing staff.
Morning, Commissioners. You've done this many times before. This is classified tax claim bureau for your consent to sell privately properties that are in the repository of unsold properties. The tax claim bureau does not sell properties that upset sale, judicial sale. It all goes into the repository and can be sold privately with the consent of the tax districts. By doing so, by approving property sales, we're allowing property to go back into the tax rolls.
Any questions, Commissioners? Next, we move on to the Commissioner's liaison report, and begin with Commissioner DeFilippo.
Sandy, my report in my desk, so I would ask Commissioner Berger or Herschel this morning.
Okay, Commissioner Herschel?
Sure. Well, none of my direct liaison since our last workshop, but there was a couple of things I'll pass along. I attended the quarterly meeting of the state's 911 advisory board and a meeting of the board's funding subcommittee on Thursday, September the 5th over at FEMA. I'm finishing up my time as representative the statewide 911 advisory board representing all third-class counties in Pennsylvania. As part of the funding subcommittee, we recommended that the advisory board that approved the continuation of the current funding distribution formula and eligibility criteria, with only a few minor changes for the 2020 budget year. And of course, we all know the state did reauthorize the $1.65 per communication device 911 fee with legislation that extended the law's sunset date from June 30th this year to January 31, 2024. If that legislation had not passed, we'd be looking at a hole in the county budget of more than $2 million annually. The good news is that the extension legislation passed with a whopping 2 days to spare, but it passed. And our own state senator, Mike Regan, who chairs the Senate Emergency Services and Veterans Affairs Committee, was the prime sponsor of that legislation and also helped to steer that toward final act. So, major accomplishment in that. That fee structure did not expire on June 30th. Statewide, that new fee structure established in 2015 is generating about $316 million a year. And that's $125 million more annually than what we had previously. Which up until 2015 had not been changed in 25 years. And also, according to FEMA data, the 911 fee is now covering, on average, statewide, about 89.7% of the operating costs of all of our public safety and reporting folks around the state. There are some issues that will need to be addressed in the next year or so relative to equity and fairness. One of the things that we have not gotten to yet is in terms of how the funds are distributed, is to take into account call volume. Different counties count calls that come in from 911 different ways. We're trying to reach a fair solution on that. I believe that there's a vendor who's working on that. So hopefully, at some point, call volume will actually become part of the equation in terms of the distribution. At the September 5 advisory board meeting, we took action to approve the technical subcommittee's next generation 911 GIS data model. In the near term, part but GIS will become all important with respect to emergency calls that are placed in 911. And there's going to be a central network, essentially things will be then sent out back to, in a matter of a split second, the correct dispatch. But the idea with this, of course, is to make sure that we're using all available technology to identify the source of the call that's coming in. We also established a new interconnectivity funding priorities. 15% of the revenue that's generated from the 911 fee is dedicated toward making sure and helping all of our 911 public safety answering points work together, collaborate, and consolidate where it makes sense. So those are things that are moving forward. Just I'll mention that because Pennsylvania has established and has its own dedicated 911 fund, unlike other states, we qualified to receive an initial $4 million in federal funds to pursue next generation 911 implementation. Now, on Monday morning, meanwhile, I joined with some of our staff members from the planning department and the conservation district. I'm our commissioner representative to the conservation district. And I sat in on a DEP webinar regarding our county's likely participation in the planning for phase 3 of the state's watershed implementation plan, aimed at meeting the latest 2025 goal of reducing nitrogen and phosphorus pollution in Chesapeake Bay. Franklin, York, Lancaster, and Adams County have already gone through the planning process. And DEP has now chosen Cumberland County, Lebanon County, Center County, and Bedford counties to be the next part of this process, to be followed by all of the other counties in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. One of the reasons I wanted to sit in and listen is because, while we all are in favor of doing everything we can to make sure we have clean rivers and streams, and that we're doing what is possible to make sure that we maintain and help restore the Chesapeake Bay, there's a cost involved in everything. Okay? So that's why I wanted to sit in on this thing. Because I was a township commissioner when the mandate came down to all of our municipalities and every sewage treatment operation up and down the Susquehanna River to upgrade our sewage treatment plants. And when it hit East Pennsboro Township, we were in the middle of an upgrade of our sewage treatment plant, and the estimated cost at that time was about $12 million. When this came in, this new requirement from DEP/EPA, we had to we had to stop and start all over again. The cost of that project was $25 million. And the problem with that was, this is the way they wanted it done in the beginning, because point sources like the East Pennsboro sewage treatment plant are regulated. Okay, they're regulated by DEP. And I share this because what happened was we spent $1.6 billion up and down the Susquehanna River with a negligible effect on the reduction of nitrogen or phosphorus. Right? So now, of course, we're looking at what else can we do. We've seen now, we've got MS4 rain taxes that are cropping up, around our municipalities. So that, because, when the federal government's, asks us to do something, a lot of times they don't think about the consequences. They don't think about who's going to do what and how's that going to be paid for. So they throw it back down to the local government level or the state level, and they say, okay, just do what we say, all right? And that could cost a lot of money. So what I wanted to know is, okay, what's the cost of this latest effort and where's the money coming from? And while there was some talk of some funding being available for a plan coordinator and technical assistance, the details on that were not at all clear. In addition, I took note of the comments from Adams County that's gone through this. And the gentleman who was on the line relative to Adams County, the thing that stood out was when he said that it's time consuming and administratively burdensome. Okay. So what's more, and I think this is the biggest question, there was a statement made by the DEP folks that the estimated cost of implementation of the strategy and what essentially our municipalities and all of us are involved with until 2025 would be $520 million annually, or a total of some $3 billion over the next several years. And it was not at all clear as to exactly how that money would be spent and where it would come from. Anyway, apparently the next step for us, if we're willing to participate, and I understand that there's no obligation on the county to participate, there's no legal requirement that we participate, but I get the feeling that we would like to cooperate. I think we all want to cooperate. But the next step would be to set up a stakeholders work group. And I think that all is in Kirk's and Carl's report at the present time. So I just wanted to share that with my colleagues this morning. One of the things that I've, been concerned about since my time in elected office is all the bureaucracy, okay? All the paperwork, all the studies, all the plans. What I'm interested in is, okay, what are the results going to be, and where's the cost benefit of what we spend? So I think this is something that we want to keep an eye on. We want to participate. We're all in favor of clean water, clean streams. What I want to know is, I'd like to get a good handle on how does this actually work to improve the quality of our water and our streams and help to restore the Chesapeake Bay. With very little help, by the way, from the federal government. Even though they're sort of the ones that tell us what to do. Anyway, I know it went much longer than my normal go liaison reports. I'll try to keep it short the next time.
Thank you, Commissioner Hensler. Commissioner Lee.
Yeah, sorry for the delay here. I agree with Jen's comments. They're very important. Once again, local government appears to be being asked to take the brunt of this. There was a local emergency planning commission meeting held on September the 12th. Just some updates. There have been 19 hazmat incidents so far this year in Cumberland County. We have received year-to-date 51 hazmat plans from our employers. Bylaws are going to be reviewed again beginning November of this year. And just a reminder, the Sarah Summit is scheduled for October 10th. Some new business. It was recommended by the LEPC that Jason Maddox and John Owen be appointed as new members. And also, the LEPC is looking to form some additional committees within the LEPC. One such as an outreach committee, which will advise the community exactly what the LEPC does. A planning committee, and also potentially what's being called a site distinction committee, which will be used to help new facilities to achieve the designation from LEPC. Also, the Western Council of Governments recently met. Some news from Big Spring School District. They did hire their second resource officer. In Cook Township, they successfully firmed up the bridge on Bendersville Road with volunteer labor. Dickinson Township has been going through the process of updating their zoning ordinance and subdivision land development ordinance. They now are scheduling a public hearing for both items so that residents can voice any concerns. Mount Holly, they requested grant funds from CDBG for an ADA crosswalk project at the Butler and Chestnut Street intersection with Baltimore Avenue. In Newburgh Borough, state police are planning to set up a weight and measure station as they have been experiencing a lot of large trucks speeding down local roadways. Penn Township, Gary Mark reported that 2 sinkholes developed in retention ponds in one of the warehouses and one on the Big Barrett property. Good news, the warehouse owners did pay for repair of all 3 sinkholes. Shippensburg Borough, they've completed their paving projects for 2019. Shippensburg Township, Steve Ball reported that the students are back on campus. State police had to send 6 police and law horses to Richard Avenue over Labor Day weekend. Nothing seems to change. In Southampton Township, they are now interested in adopting ordinances and using the Western Cumberland Council's UCC Appeals Board model as their ordinance. Is it for the Western Cumberland? That's it for me.
Just wanted to point out that both of you in referencing the mandates use the word ask. They go and ask us to do that. So again, just want to make clear, there ain't no ask about it. It's not optional. It's about as optional as when my wife asks me to do something.
Point of all take.
I have a handful of items here. I just came from the Planning Commission meeting, involved meeting today, and I do have the dashboard update for you all, which I will print out in color so it's actually discernible. And circulate that to you. Lots of highlights, of course, as you know, planning's got a lot of stuff. We've been pretty busy, and just a handful of things I'll point out on the special projects portion is they continue to offer the training opportunities and the 9-hour course on zoning. Their session scheduled for the 18th and 25th, and today's 18th. They have also the 25th and October 2nd as well. We've had a lot of success with attendance at those, so we're going to keep that going. Hazard mitigation updates is, of course, underway. That's a 5-year way to do that. Planning is taking a lead on that. A reminder that the FEMA public meetings are set for November 6th. We'll get more information on that. I'm sure someone else will attend. Kirk was reporting about the continued work on the build-out of redevelopment strategy that we tasked them with to include for instance, land bank and municipal blight prevention efforts and evaluating some grant opportunities through the Housing Redevelopment Authority. So that's just a taste of what some of the things that are involved are. Of course, the planning was in yesterday. We were all present here for the online planning submission tool, and Kirk briefed the planning folks on that. They were very pleased to hear the receptivity by the commissioners. Planning modules on a variety of topics will be provided in a 3-part workshop to be scheduled with Land Logics Group through PennDOT Connect's program contract. I don't have any details on that, but it sounded interesting, so I circled it. So, if you have any questions on that, you can ask Kirk or ask me to ask Kirk. So, I'll see you get copies of that. On recycling household hazardous waste, the final event is today, so that's I'm going to try to stop down there. Justin did tell me that once again all the reserve spots are sold out for that, so obviously there continues to be significant demand for that service. NHIDV, I believe, we meeting today.
We meet today.
today.
We do meet today, just make sure, and it's in Carlisle, right, so.
1615 Ricker.
Okay, great, so I just make sure I drive to Perry County,
Yes,
so.
excellent.
I don't do unless I have to, but, okay, next one's Perry County. Okay, so that's today, and Andy was kind enough to provide me with a quick update. A lot of this was discussed in the Human Services Policy Team earlier this week. You weren't there, so some of this may be news to you, but I doubt. Andy reminded me to continue to work with the county's HR department on this suicide prevention training, and the QPR training is what's referred to. You'll hear that acronym many times. So, and continue to host these sessions throughout the community. Can you give me any detail on how the rollout on county staff is scheduled, or is that?
We put it out to the departments and asked if, the training only takes about an hour and a half. It depends on the interactions with staff. I did one earlier this week and it took about an hour and a half. So we can do that on the staff meeting. And that was actually what we were encouraging department heads to consider, is doing the staff meeting, just take it maybe an extra half hour and we'll do this QPR training. In the prison specifically, we're looking to pay to have the prison trainer train as QPR trainer for staff, corrections officers. And we think that makes good sense. So we think it's an excellent strategy. It helps all of our county staff to be trauma informed, and we believe serve the public better.
Could we, if we haven't already, can we receive some information on what those sessions are? I know I think some of us would like to at least participate in this.
Absolutely, I can send you the link and let you folks see what is entailed. Just a PowerPoint gives suicide statistics as well as, basically questions to ask and how to come alongside and feel comfortable supporting the individual.
Okay, moving along, and also the reminder of the long-term structured residence, the housing unit that's going to be breaking ground next month.
We hope so.
Okay, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yes.
And projected completion date around May of next year.
That's what we're hoping, so, yes.
Okay, all right, $2 million project. Okay, how many?
16 beds.
16 beds, okay, that's a pretty substantial project.
Yes, license for 16, yes.
It doesn't have to happen every day, so this is very good news. As far as, also we had a little update on Project Search and talked about maybe expanding the employers, ways to do that, but of course don't want to get out too far ahead of what make sure there's a match. We should have some more discussion on that.
Well, we've gotten excellent feedback from other county departments who have stepped up to participate in Project Search. What an amazing, I would say, mission-oriented project this is, and helps all of our individuals in our communities with an intellectual disability feel connected to their community, have what the state encourages us to do, everyday lives. So for all of us, we work, we live our lives in our communities. It's just a super neat project, and every department we get such positive feedback. It's amazing.
We've seen the results here over the 2 sessions now, right?
Yes.
And just a delightful cadre of young people.
And statistically, I just learned this the other day, our projects are actually faring better in terms of people being retained in employment than the national average for Project Search. So that's also, I think it speaks well of the values of our community.
Very nice point. We had some discussion given the need for employees of our county's businesses and maybe doing a little more outreach. We certainly don't want to get too far out for our capacity is, but we could encourage our chambers to think of or contact some businesses who might be looking for appropriate. So we may put you in contact with some people Andy to kind of give them the lay of the land on what that would look like for that.
Absolutely. Sue Carwell would be the person, she's been doing a lot of outreach to possible employers.
Okay, good. I will talk to her about that. And that was everything you updated me on. Anything you wanted to add to that? Okay. All right, well, we'll move along. The last item I have, just as we were all present at the Cumberland Area Economic Corporation board meeting this week, so I think you're up to date on most everything there. I'm investing a good bit of time in this revisiting the strategic planning initiative. And as was discussed ever so lightly at the board meeting, we are engaging an outside facilitator slash project manager in this. That I think gives us a great opportunity for some more comprehensive organization building. So we're not just updating the plan, we're looking at drawing together a number of elements that we've identified as needing attention over a period of time, and maybe going to do this more comprehensively in a more compressed time period that we could address not only the plan objectives for the next few years for the organization, but also deal with some member management issues, governance issues, and particularly board development issues that we plan to tackle board development next year. We're going to wrap that in and make that a more comprehensive effort to do that right up front. Part of that is going to involve interviews. I know how much you guys love being interviewed, so we make sure that we're major stakeholders in this. There will be, I'm not sure what the time frame is, but there will be scheduling interviews with each of us to discuss some future directions and expectations of Katie. So, also the effort is it's not going to be completed this year. It's going to begin shortly, but it will extend over, so we're splitting it over 2 budget years as well as a more comprehensive effort. It's going to cost Kate a little more up front, but they will have to spend some of the money on the back end initiatives later on. So, and because of that as well, I'll point out that we've also requested that they include the opportunity for any newly seated commissioners who will be here next year to have the opportunity to also provide input in that. So that's part of that process. So. Also on as somewhat as part of that policy and planning committee that had somewhat withered during our absence of a CEO last year, we're reconstituting that and we're working quickly because they will be the steering committee for this organization building / strategic planning initiative as well. So we're already picking the brain of the facilitator we have to try to expedite that selection process, make sure we get some really terrific people on there who hopefully we will groom and become eventual board members as we seek to replace those who cycle off the board as well. We're trying to take a forward-looking approach toward populating those board seats. So all that's occurring pretty much simultaneously, and given my background in organizational development, I'm going to be engaged to help them quite a bit with that. So any questions, you can feel free to ask me. I don't know it, I'll certainly find the answers as best I can. That's everything I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Eichelberger. I would like to report that the executive session was held on the following date in 2019, September 10th at 1:30 p.m. regarding personnel issues. I would also like to request an executive session be held directly following this meeting regarding personnel issues as well. Is there any other business that needs to come